Good, Mom.
Yo, so we're back. Gives people a chance to come in. I'm actually trying to find the link myself. Sorry about that. Kev killed it. Hashtag for the week yet again. So boom, found the link. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. Boom. I see folks in the chat. Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. It's Monday. Mondays are hard. And you can see firsthand. But welcome to another episode of the Monday Midsole. We're gonna jump right into it. It's your co-host Morley Moore, aka Mr. Accidental Purchase, aka I done copped another one. And I'm gonna pass it off to my one-legged friend. I think I got two, but he says I only have one. Let's get it.
Yo, what's good? It's Daniel. It's one-legged listener, your one-legged friend, maybe your only one-legged friend on a Monday, whatever the fuck time it is.
Yes.
1 minute in, drop the first F-bomb. Here we go. Let's do it. Pass it off to the main man, Buck. Let's get it.
What's going on, y'all? Buckeye City Soul Kev. I'm in a bad mood right now because PCs are trash.
A piece
Yeah, exactly. But welcome to the show. I'm trying to get my energy up. I'm going to pass it to Moss so he can introduce our guest today.
All right, y'all. So, ladies and gentlemen, the real reason you guys tuned in today is Cherry. How's it going?
Good.
Welcome. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but very happy to have you on.
Thank you. I'm like super nervous.
No. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. I mean, no holds barred. Whatever you want to say, you can say it. You're a lady, but if you want to drop a little profanity, Dan will be more than happy to accept that. Okay. You can see with 30 seconds in, he already dropped the F-bomb. So we'll jump right into the interview. Obviously, we want to be cognizant of the time. And first question's a softball. It's the icebreaker. What shoe got you into the culture?
Got me into the culture? So I would say the Jordan 10 Chicago's. It's kind of a crazy story because should I tell my story now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The reason it was that shoe, and it wasn't even that long ago. When did it come out? Like 2000?
The one with the 4.5?
Like it was around 2008 or 2010. Could that be?
That's about right.
There was a drop somewhere
there. That's the one without the 45, yeah.
So when I was a kid, I would say I wasn't into sneakers, or I didn't even know I was into sneakers, but I would say the most memorable shoe as a kid was the Air Max 97 Silver Bullets. But that was just a shoe that I liked when I was like 10 years old, or I don't know how old, but I didn't think I was into sneakers, and I just bought sneakers because I was a kid who but I would say the one that got me into really collecting sneakers now is the Jordan 10 Chicago. Yeah.
All right. So go into that, the story behind that. What was it about the shoe? How did you get it?
So really, okay. Background story is that I, when I was in university, it was like my last course. I had one more course to graduate. There was somebody, a guy that I was close to, that I liked. Okay. It was somebody I liked for a long time. And I used to work at the YMCA, like local YMCA at the front desk, whatever, finishing school. And then he was like, hey, I want to open up a shop. And at the time, he just wanted to open up like a little hip hop shop. Like at the time, it was still long tees. It was like the last 2 years of long tees.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm from Montreal, so that everybody knows, Montreal, Canada. And out here, you can find them. So you had to go out to the States and get them, bring them back, okay? So I think it's 2008 around that time. So for 2 years, when we opened up the shop together, him and I, and then a lot of customers at the time, we didn't have any sneakers. It was just like long tees, printed tees with like Scooby-Doo holding money and, SpongeBob with like dollar signs, like that kind of stuff we were in front of a high school. And then a lot of kids were like, yo, we want sneakers. So I was like, okay, I don't know how to get sneakers. And then I spoke to him about it, and he's like, no, we're not going to do shoes. It's too expensive. You have to have like size runs, and we don't have space in a back store, whatever. So I literally just started Googling, and like Rockaware, we used to carry Rockaware at the time, and Rockaware had this like boat shoe, like a black one and a white one. And our distributor was like, hey, why don't you try these shoes? and she gave them to me on consignment, my rep, okay? So my partner at the time was like, no, we don't want shoes, but he was out of town, and I let her give me the shoes on consignment, and I sold them in like a day, like 12 pairs of shoes, which was a big deal for us at the time, right? Like 12 pairs of the same shoe, a full size run, gone. So then she gave me more. So within a week, I like kept going to the supplier, getting these Rockwear shoes, selling them out. So after the third time doing this, I told him like, hey, these shoes are selling out. I got some shoes on consignment. And he was like, okay, we got to get sneakers now. So I send Nike an email, literally like Google Nike, you know, how to whatever, find somebody's email. And it's just like a generic, you know, send email a Nike an email, and then maybe you'll get a reply in like 2 years, right? And that's what happened. I sent them an email, first got a no, and then replied to the no, and then we got a yes, and we opened up a Nike account. Like that's kind of how it happened. I don't know if I'm going too fast. I'm the worst.
No, you're good. Good. Go ahead.
The story, okay? I'm really bad
absolutely.
Storyteller. So then we get a Nike account. That was the first account we got, which was a pretty big deal. I made a really bad order. Like my partner at the time was out of town, and I'm the one who did the buying that first time. And I ordered like probably the worst shoes and like probably the worst order they've ever seen in history, whatever. Anyways, as we built our account, we got the 11, the cool gray 11s. Okay. So I don't remember what year that was that they came out, but when's
2011?
Sorry?
Is that 2011?
Yes. So the 2011 cool gray 11s. But at the time, we weren't sneaker people. Like I didn't even know what we had at the time, right? In Canada, it wasn't that big yet, like the culture. And so those were sitting, like they didn't even move out of the store. They were just sitting because nobody knew we existed. Nobody knew we had sneakers. People, it kind of just sat there. And then anyways, word spread we had them. And then the Galaxy Foamposite release came, okay? And that release caused like a big thing for us. And we had like a midnight release. And that's how people started knowing about our store. Anyways, after that, that's how I learned about the culture. It was actually from that Foamposite release that we were exposed. I know it sounds crazy because maybe it's not even that long ago, but that's really what kind of brought me into it because I didn't know about camping out. I didn't know that people bought shoes like this, to be honest with you. So after that Galaxy Foamposite release, that's when I was like, you know, for me, and that Chicago, I'll say that that's my shoe that brought me into the culture because it's the first Jordan I bought. And the reason I'm in sneakers really is because it's the culture behind it. It's not really the shoes. It's really just like the people I've met through it, which is so crazy, you know? Like people used to come buy shoes from me and like, it's the stories that people had about their shoes. Not that I personally have, but with what I learned about it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. This is a product of the culture of interaction and people. That's why Daniel and I are friends and Kevin and I are friends. And that's why we have you here. That's exactly what this platform is.
That's it. So yeah, that's why I picked that shoe. And yeah, that's why I'm like, oh my God, when you're like, oh, be on the podcast, but that's it. I'm like, man, I'm not that person who knows everything about every shoe or, you know, knows the dates or knows what was why, when. Like for me, I just always was into sneakers and it's really the culture around it. It's the music, it's the people. Like that's why I'm really in it, you know? Like I just like a shoe if I like it because I like it, right? It's not about the hype of it. I'm not in any resale like I'm not into that. I just buy what I like. But what I enjoy about being in this group is like the crazy amount of stories and friends and connections that are in it. It's incredible.
It's awesome. So
yeah,
you've got the store. What would you say would be like outside of the whole Foamposite and getting that experience, but in terms of people, like celebrity, like who's the craziest person or like the biggest person to come by the shop?
So to come by the shop, I mean, in my own shop because now I work for Foot Locker. I don't know.
Well, right. Well, yeah, we're still in the 2010, 2011, 2012 area.
You know what? In that shop, we didn't have anybody too celebrity wise come in. We had Raekwon.
Okay.
That was cool. But no, we didn't have any major celebrities at the time. I left.
No DJs?
No, I'm trying to remember if anybody major came through, but I had like Beyonce's tour manager come by, which was really cool. I thought that was cool because he gave me tickets to the show. That was dope.
That's a win.
Huh? Yeah.
That's a win.
In the Beehive and everything. and that was funny because like he called before coming and he was, I could tell he was American from the accent. And I'm just a curious person. I was like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, oh, from the States, whatever. I'm looking for size 13 foams. And I'm like, we have. And then he came by the store and I was like, oh, were you the guy on the phone? And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, where are you from? He's like, Houston, whatever. And then I found out he was with Beyonce. I was like, that's crazy. But anyways, that was a good story. But yeah, no, I can't tell you in my own store at the time, no big celebrities. I mean, DJ Clark Kent, we had him for our opening of our fourth store. So he didn't come on his own. Like we had him as a as a guest for our grand opening. And we had Gentry Humphrey for our third store as a guest. So that was a big deal for us.
I'd be at a hold of DJ Clark Kent.
So when I had my third store, okay. So the fourth one wasn't open yet. We're still on our third store downtown. Oh, no, sorry, second store downtown. There was a guy from the States, DJ Sherrod. I don't know, you're from Jersey. I don't know if you ever heard of DJ Sherrod, but
no.
He's in Long Island. So he has like a production company and he does like East Indian weddings and whatever. He's pretty known out there. So this guy calls me and he wanted to order the Clark Kent SBs. Do you remember those? The DJ Clark Kent SBs?
Mm-hmm.
So we had those in stock. So a lot of people from the States like saw us online and stuff and they would do phone orders. So this guy calls me and he was like, hey, I want to order the Clark Kent SBs. We start talking and his name was Indian. So I was like, oh, are you Indian? He's like, yeah. I was like, me too. So we start chatting and it was just like a good convo. And then he's like, hey, I actually know Clark Kent. And if ever, he's like, you sound like good people. He's like, if ever you want to connect with him, I could connect you. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, we're opening up a store. So maybe that would be cool to connect with him. And that's how it happened. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
So do you guys still keep in contact?
Yeah, definitely. He's like awesome. Such a cool guy. Yeah. So that's
what's up.
Yeah, it was really cool to have him. So yeah, I guess he would probably be the biggest in my store. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's transition. You've got the shop. Are you still with the shop?
No.
You keep saying, okay, because it's all past tense. It's Foot Locker now. So you're rocking stripes. All right. We got the referee. Okay, cool. So talk to me about that. Like how does that differ from, say, in the States? Like what's your experience? How long have you been with Foot Locker?
So I've been with Foot Locker 3 years now. It's my third year. So I left the shop because I don't care to say it. It was I had it with my ex-boyfriend. So it was my boyfriend at the time for a really long time. And then we broke up and it just wasn't working out anymore. So I left that situation. And then met somebody at Foot Locker and was like, if there's any opportunity. So that was 3 years ago. Started in Montreal for 3 months. Then they asked me to move to Toronto. So I went to Mississauga and worked there for about a year and a bit and then moved back. And now I'm a district manager in training.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you say like the sneaker culture, what have you, how does that differ from that in the States?
Oh, did you think I lived in the States?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're just saying.
But I know you frequented. So like, what are the main differences you see, out there versus here in the States?
I mean, for sure you feel, I can only speak for like mainly Montreal and Toronto because I haven't really been around too much in the rest of Canada, but it's definitely way more, it's really newer for us. Like, to be honest, like I said, the culture that we all know here, I feel people only really knew about it and it became something more mainstream after the Galaxy Foamposite release because it became like people on the news started talking about it. And of course there was people in it already, but it really blew up after that, right? So in the States, it's been a lot longer, I would say. But yeah, it's still, I think when people in the States come here, it doesn't seem like much to them. It's still building.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're just beginning here, to be honest with you. Like SneakerCon was pretty big in Toronto last year. It was pretty crazy. Montreal had it this year too, and you could see that we're still in a building stage. It's not to its full potential yet. Yeah. So, and I mean, the only other thing I could say, and I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but I think definitely here it's still more, you know, not to use like hype beast or whatever, but people are more. I hope nobody's mad at me for this, but I do feel here it's more hype. People are generally more like buying for the hype of it than like it's been a thing for them. Right. You know what I mean? So
no, I hear you. So I think, I mean, for me, I feel like it really kind of started getting crazy after the Concord release, the Jordan 11 Concord.
Okay.
Which was probably the first and last. No, it's not the last time, but one of the few times I'll say that I camped for a shoe.
Okay.
And that was crazy. So that was, I guess that was I think that was the 2011 release.
Oh, that's when you started? Really?
No, that's not when I started.
Okay.
I'm saying that's like here, if you kind of like try to put a bookmark on when did it go, like when the hype really took off, like with the camping and everything. And at least from in my area, it was the Concords. That's the one that kind of like, yeah.
I've never.
So maybe
that's my bookmark for the camping. No, I mean, listen, we had the Galaxy thing. People were going crazy. I remember they showed like the fights in Orlando. Like people were going nuts. You know, that was on the news and everything. So Galaxy foams definitely were crazy. And then Cool Grey is actually 2010. I had to make that correction.
Got it. Okay.
Cool Grey 11. Yeah. Get my dates mixed up, but it's not much different here. I mean, it's all about the hype beast, right? That's hype sells. It's the same thing we're dealing with. You know, you get your Saturdays when you catch an L on the sneakers app. So it's kind of the same, I guess. So what are your thoughts as far as like female sneaker culture? Is it something that's big around you? Do you see more females kind of gravitating to the culture? Like, what's your take on it?
I mean, you know, I think these days, listen, I'm a bit like, I don't know, I'm a bit older, like I'm 33, you know, I think I'm one of those people that is very stuck in the 90s and I hate everything. Not that I hate everything of today, but I'm a little just like, you know what I mean? Like I just feel a lot of people these days, like girls, for sure they follow the trends and follow the styles of, you know, certain people. Like, you know, if Kylie Jenner's wearing it or whatever's wearing it, like it's cool or whatever, right? I definitely think girls these days are, I don't know, it's tough. I wouldn't say, like, even me as a girl, I feel like people think like, oh, an Indian girl who's into sneakers is like it's a big deal. Do you know what I mean? Like as if they never seen it